In the news lately, there's been a lot of talk about adaptive leadership. I just read a good article in the Harvard Business Review on how leaders should consider their teams to be individuals, which they are, and consider what individual needs they have in order to produce good work. Scholars are really digging deep into this topic because we just came out of COVID-19, and during that time, companies had to be very flexible. You never knew what was going to happen day to day. One day the schools would be closed and the kids would be home. You send the kids back to school, someone had a cough, so now they're home again. Whole households were becoming infected and people weren't able to work, so you might have to pivot a workload to another peer on the team. I want to tell you about my experience, and this happened long before COVID-19. I was managing a government contract. I was in a leadership role. I had a team of 7 different individuals. One of the ladies that I had, we'll call her Sandra, every time I gave her an assignment, she came up short. It was either not complete, the information that she included was irrelevant. I could tell she hadn't done the proper research, and a lot of times she had an attitude with me when we would meet. To tell you the truth, I just didn't get it. We worked remotely. We had cross-functional teams across different time zones. When she was late with her work or turned in a product that was substandard, that meant I had to bring on another set of people to help scramble and get that piece of work done. I decided to have a one-on-one conversation with her. This was probably about the third one, and sit down to try to find out what was going on. It turns out she had a child with autism, and her child was sick. Autistic kids a lot of times have endocrinology problems, and she would send her daughter to school, and a lot of times the school will call and say, your daughter's sick. So everyone worked at home. She'd have to race up to the school, get her daughter, go to the hospital, and she'd wait at the hospital. And so that would take all her time and all her focus. And once she was able to get her daughter stable, then she would come home and try to do the work and have it turned in by 5 o'clock. So it caused a lot of erratic behavior. And she was always just worried for her daughter's health. She told me that she did better working at night because her daughter would be home from school. She could get her a good meal, make sure she was doing okay, and then she would have time to focus on doing her work. So we decided that she would work beginning at 5 or 6 p.m. until the morning. She'd cover an 8-hour shift, but it would be in the evening. I would meet with her at 3 or 4 o'clock during the day to make sure she was on target and focused on what I needed her to accomplish. She worked during the evening, and then in the morning, she'd have a polished product for me. She gained autonomy. I didn't have to micromanage her. We didn't have aggressive conversations anymore, and there was a relationship of trust. I'm still in contact with her. It's been 10 years later, but what she told me was that initially she had an aggressive attitude, a terrible disposition, because she was used to leadership looking down on her, browbeating her, and doing the microaggressions and micromanaging her. But because I sat down with her and had a caring conversation and created the shift for her that made her feel more relaxed, she could take care of her daughter and then she could focus on her work. She really appreciated it. And then she told me, I'm just not used to leadership treating me like I'm a human being. Normally they'll find out that I have a sick child and they'll try to push me out of a role. I feel like there is a place for empathy in the corporate environment, and more leaders should take that into consideration because we're all human. And at some point, we're going to have to support a child, a family member, a husband, a parent when they're ill. We all have more responsibilities outside of the walls of work. Let me know your thoughts and how you would have handled the situation.